We are Metal Nation Radio, playing the best classic metal, thrash metal, death metal, and so much more. Tune in to metalnationradio.com because united we rock.
All right, Metal Nation, let's go to the Not Your Scene Livewire phone line, and we're going to check in with our brand new Metalheads United correspondent, Jason. Jason, man, what's shaking in Chicagoland, brother?
Hey, what's up, CC Gaddy? How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty well. I'm glad I've had time to clear the cobwebs today. Being a DJ till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes. Saturday morning comes pretty quickly, even though I'm on late in the afternoon, let me tell you.
Heard that, brother.
So, for our fans that are tuning in here, this is your first time checking in with us as a Metalheads United correspondent. And what Jason's going to be doing, like I said, he's based in the Midwest, Chicagoland. So, anything happening in that area, we're going to try to have Jason kind of watching over and seeing what's going on. But more importantly, Jason being ingrained into that metal scene, going to be checking out some of the bands that are up and coming, and we'll be able to introduce some of the best Midwest bands in the U.S. to the Metal Nation. That sounds about accurate. Hey, Jason?
That is accurate. I'll be interviewing a lot of up-and-coming bands, as well as a lot of bands that have been around for a while. And also, I'm going to be interviewing bands that are actually touring through the Midwest.
Going to be like our metalhead on the scene in that area.
You could say that, yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell the Metal Nation a little bit about Jason.
I've been listening to metal since, before I could even think thoughts. I live and breathe it. Doing these interviews is just the next step, you know? I mean, I've been sitting around listening to music. I want to get in on it and kind of show the people bands that they may not have heard originally. It'll be nice because these bands are working hard, real hard. It'll be great to give them some exposure.
Yeah, the local band out there, for the metalhead that doesn't know, that doesn't play in a band or doesn't play an instrument, it is hard work being in a band. There's no doubt about it.
So hard, so hard.
So, Jason, why don't you tell us what you have on the go for us today?
Well, I interviewed Matt Hebert, the lead guitarist from the band The Prowl. They're out of Lake Station, Indiana. They have this rad throwback rock sound. It's not necessarily metal, but, man, the metalheads can relate, I'm sure, because I listen to the heaviest stuff, and this has just got a groove to it that everybody can get behind.
Let's jump in right now. This is Jason's interview with The Prowl.
What's up, Metal Nation Radio listeners? My name is Jason, and I'm a new correspondent from Metalheads United. I'll be interviewing bands hailing from and touring through the American Midwest. Today I'm sitting here with Matt Hebert, the lead guitarist from one of Northwest Indiana's hardest working bands, The Prowl. Want to introduce yourself and the other members of the band who couldn't make it? And also, tell us a little bit about The Prowl.
This is Matt Hebert from The Prowl. I play lead guitar and I do backup vocals. The Prowl is myself, Memphis Drake on vocals and rhythm guitar, R.C. Telez on drums, and Josh Silvius on bass. We're from Northwest Indiana, Chicagoland area. Our style is sort of old school hard rock, but original tunes. We have a record we released last year. It's an EP called Defiant. It's a 5-song. You can find it www.theprowlrock.com or any social media with just the URL or hashtag, if you will, is The Prowl Rock, all one word. SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, all that stuff. We're on Spotify and iTunes. We're going to be releasing a new track fairly soon. It's called Rock and Roll is Back. It's I think it's our best yet. Hopefully it lives up to the name, but yeah.
You guys have such an old school sound. It's a sound not every band can pull off. Did you guys come in with the mentality like, yeah, we're going to make this specific style of music? Or did it just kind of happen naturally?
Yes and no. Because from the ashes of RC, our drummer, Memphis, our singer, and Josh Silvius, our bass player, they were in a band called Dear Noel, which was say that it was different than what we were doing right now. Well, that band fell apart, and they were the three that stuck together throughout that, and they wanted to do something different. They knew that they were into like the old school rock thing, but they were kind of transitioning into it because I don't think anybody really knew how to do it. So just sort of like coming from the influences that they were already into, like actually bands that they had been in. Everybody's real versatile, and they've been in a million different types of bands. And One band that Josh Sylvius, our bass player, was in, it's called the Honor Recital, which is definitely, out of any bands that any of us have ever been in, that was probably the closest link to what the Prowl is. And so they were trying to develop the sound a little bit, and I think they were going for classic rock, but they were sort of like seeing a couple of other things. And then they realized they needed a lead guitar player, so they got a hold of me. And eventually, just the way that we all started playing together, sort of, we had the root of we want it to be rock, but rock is such a general and broad term. It almost doesn't even mean anything. Yeah. So like definitely the classic rock sound, the riffs were there, and I kind of saw in my style that was where it was going. So I sort of had to backtrack and kind of relearn some of the 101s, like what was Jimmy Page doing? Like what would Jimmy Page do over this chord progression, or what would
WWJPD,
you know, like, or just sort of like what would not that I was really or that I'm technically proficient like him, but like what would Van Halen do here, or, you know, just sort of, or what would Slash do, or what would Angus Young do, and just sort of like going back to those old school guys and trying to get in that mindset to not copy those guys, but just you know, find out what made their lead styles work over the materials. So and our influences all really started to mesh together. So yeah, it's really, short answer is that it's yes and no. I'll just put it like that.
All right. Tell us a few of your influences, Matt.
Kiss, Memphis, our singer, his favorite band is AC/DC. The riffs and the grooves, it's right there. And then Guns N' Roses when they were on, you know, when they were actually doing it right.
Yeah.
Big Slash fan. Always had like good technique, good style, like real good sense of melody. And, you know, they had the tunes, and Appetite for Destruction this day, it's still...
It holds up, man.
Yeah, it holds up, and it stomps like the vast majority of other records that were... I mean, it pretty much killed everything in that 80s.
That was
in
the
that
record
80s scene,
in the 80s. Yeah.
Because it just... You know, you were starting to get all the crap, Firehouse.
Oh, here comes Poison.
The Poisons and all that stuff, and it just started getting real diluted, and they kind of just brought it back to just dirty, shitty, raunchy rock and roll,
real,
man. Just raunchy and real, man. That's where we're headed. You know, that's where we want to. Obviously, we're a lot more punctual than they are, and we, you know, we show up to our gigs and we aren't completely doped out. Not completely, but I'm a big fan of Thin Lizzy. Always thought that they were just criminally underrated band.
Oh, absolutely.
Love the twin guitar harmonies. We started to dabble a little bit into that on our latest record. Since Memphis is playing rhythm guitar and singing, he's kind of got his hands full to be doing twin guitar leads, but I still, you know, I still get him to do it begrudgingly. I don't think he gives himself enough credit as a guitar player. You know, he's definitely, like, he holds his own. You know, I'm pretty flashy and everything like that, but he could hang, and he knows where he's at in the rhythm and in the harmony and in everything, you know. Yeah. Another one is, might not even be able to hear it, but Queen is a huge one. If nothing else, it's just sort of like where we would like to be. We definitely have a little bit of a southern rock tinge in our thing. That's kind of like a long and short of our basic influences.
So I hear the Prowl picked up new sponsorship. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
We just hooked up with Cold Cock Whiskey, which I don't know if you're familiar with them, but it's
herbal whiskey.
Yeah, that herbal whiskey, and I found the stockholders in that company are like Kerry King, Dave Draymond from Disturbed, and like the manager for Jason Aldean and Nickelback, and like guys from Asking Alexander. Just ton. Like he named off the list of people that are involved in this company and the bands that are on the roster, and we're already in like pretty decent company for like national and even international touring acts. So it's just, you know, you're there, we're on the radar. So yeah, if stuff comes up with bands that we fit with, and you know, we're getting into that community, then it's just all the more people that we're going to meet and hook up with and party with, and yeah, it'll be good, man.
Right on, man. Want to give a shout out to any hardworking bands out there?
Yeah, Black Actress from Chicago.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah, Whiskey Riders from Louisville, because those are my homies, dude. Love those guys. Killer band. Hillbilly Casino from Nashville. Lofted, our good buddy Zach. Bubbles Erotica. For the metalheads out there, Point of Our Resistance, to say Lost Ambitions from out here. I don't know. There's probably some people I'm forgetting, and I'm gonna feel like a real dick when I when they message me and say, "Hey, you didn't name drop me."
What does the future hold for the Prowl?
We finally broke into different areas in the Midwest. We're basically looking to just expand throughout the area, Midwest and down south. I don't know if we're quite looking to go to the coasts yet. I mean, if the opportunity presents itself and it seems like it makes sense for us, obviously we'll go anywhere. Yeah. But, you know, since it's DIY and we're pretty much just doing it off the sweat of our own backs at this point, we're pretty much just looking to finally, you know, get down deeper south, where I think our sound would probably fit best. I think we've got the best reaction so far. The southernmost we played was Louisville, and that was probably the best response that we got so far from the time we started this band. Chicago scene is cool, and like we definitely have a lot of great fans and friends out here and stuff, but I think that what we do makes a little more sense down there, but you know, it makes sense anywhere. We're just going to keep on playing more. We're writing more songs. We're finally getting back into the groove of writing. We've been like really busy trying to just get our name out there and get out on bigger shows in front of more people, and trying to, you know, make the live show better and invest in ourselves and our gear. As long as we keep this band together, it's just going to keep going in a direction. It's going to just keep building and growing and getting bigger and more fun, hopefully. That's pretty much it, man.
Right on, man. Prowl has some pretty big shows coming up. August 2nd in Woodstock, Kentucky is Canastock, a free admission 3-day pot-friendly festival with music, camping, games, food, and of course cannabis. Can't miss that. Check out The Prowl at theprowlrock.com or facebook.com/theprowlrock. Thanks, Matt. Thank you, Metal Nation. This is Jason. Later, Metalheads.
All right, man. I got to tell you, Jason, that what is it? Cannabis Fest? What is it called?
The Canastock.
Canastock. Yeah, I think I know a few potheads here in Calgary that might want to get into their potmobiles and start driving now. It sounds like that's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it'll be a great time.
Seems like a very friendly dude, very eloquent.
Anybody has a chance to meet these guys, they're great.
That was your first exposure to the Metal Nation. What do you think you got in the future for us, Jason? You got anything in the works for us to come up in the next little while?
Yeah, I'm actually setting up some interviews now with a band actually out of London, England, which ought to be interesting, and a few bands that are actually homegrown here in the Midwest. So, yeah, I have a whole lot more for the Metal Nation to be hearing.
Right on, Jason. Well, thanks again for reporting in for us, man. We're going to let you go right now, and I think what we'll do is we'll toss it out to a song by The Prowl.
This is Bad Decisions from The Prowl on Metal Nation Radio. United, we rock.
Honey, let me in. It's on tonight. Your daddy won't approve of all of my tattoos, but it's just what you like. You were raised on Jesus with a good girl smile. Now you're far from home. If you wanna get with a guy like me, you gotta hang up your halo. No need to think twice, but let's have a good time. No need
Hey, this is CC Getty. I just want to take a minute and thank you for listening to my latest podcast featuring highlights from my Metalheads United show that you can hear Saturdays on metalnationradio.com at 5 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Mountain, 2 p.m. Pacific, or 10 p.m. in the UK. The show, as you know, has all kinds of interviews from the biggest international superstars and legends to the hottest up-and-coming bands, and also from some of the most metal people on the planet. So be sure to tune in for other features like the Not Your Scene Vacuum Metal Battle Canada Spotlight, the Big 4 Foreplay, Mandatory Maiden, the 3-Way Triple Play, and all kinds of hard and heavy music that'll melt your face and kick your ass. And don't forget, you can also tune into my broadcast on metalnationradio.com Mondays and Friday nights at midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific. Thanks again for listening. If you like what you hear, spread the word. I'm out of here. Now you get out and support your local music scene, and remember, united we rock.